I made a mistake joining the Sinaloa cartel. Now I will die.
As I write this, I am thinking of all my life choices, all the mostly bad I've done. I don't know how to begin, besides introducing myself. I am an American citizen. I grew up like a normal kid playing sports, video games, and living life. Until I was a teenager. Some background. My mom is of Mexican heritage. Her parents are from southern Mexico. My dad is a white. Despite this growing up, I was just considered Mexican, considering my darker appearance, and fit in more with the other Mexican American kids in my school. By high school, my Spanish was pretty good, although it wasn't my primary language by far. Eventually, I made friends with a new kid. To keep his identity safe, I'll call him a generic name, Jose. Jose was a new kid from Culiacan, Sinaloa. He seemed like he was a nice, normal kid. However, I began to realize his obsession with cartels. He listened to corridos of Sinaloa cartel hitmen religiously. His social media was filled with glorifying cartels, golden AKs, parties, drugs. I asked him about it, which was dumb on my part, but I was curious. He was casual about it. He wasn't a member himself, but he had uncles who were, and he wished to be one. To the dismay of his mom, who sent him north with his only non-narco uncle. I wasn't interested in that life myself, and was spooked by his ties. That was until tragedy struck. My parents died in a car crash during rainy weather. The only person left to take care of me and my brother was my aunt. My grandparents had passed not long before. All my aunts and uncles had moved, and had many of their own to take care of. I don't blame them for leaving us with my young but sick aunt. Long story short, I had to make money to support both of us. It started small. Jose and I did errands and facilitated small deals. We operated in the US, distributing. It was going well, until we were kidnapped by men in an all-black truck. They took me, Jose, and another associate while we were waiting to sell. The third man, let's call him Nacho, was shaking. They brought us to a warehouse in the city. Men in streetwear surrounded us. Then a man in a thick accent and a suit, the boss, entered. He spoke with a man in a ski mask, who wore a clear rain jacket over his clothes. I was scared, but I became truly terrified when I noticed we were kneeling on a plastic sheet. We were going to be executed. Jose screamed for them to let us go. The executioner stepped forward with a bat. He hit Nacho first. After a full minute, Nacho was little more than pulp. Then he turned to me. I begged. Suddenly, someone came running in, followed by the boss. He spoke to the man, and the bat dropped to the floor.
Ustedes dos tuvieron suerte de que las cosas se aclararan.
They explained Nacho had been helping the rival Jalisco cartel set up operations. They thought we were helping him on a side venture, but soon Jose's uncle cleared things up. We were shaken, but it was better than what happened to the man in the suit. My boss's boss, a high-ranking man on the north side of the border. Once Jose's uncle found out how close to death we were, the man was found dead in a drain. Eventually, we proved ourselves. We moved up in the ranks and were relocated to Sinaloa, working under Jose's uncles. I didn't have much anymore anyway. My brother had gone away to college, and I cut off contact for his safety. The same with any other family. My dear aunt developed cancer. Even though my money paid for chemo, it was too late. Soon it wasn't about helping my family. It was for me. The glory, the parties, the woman. Jose's uncle hired bands to sing corridos at his mansions. I lived a life with my best friend. Jose avoided starting a family. He didn't want to have something to lose. I made the mistake of finding someone. I dated my girlfriend for a year before a rival cartel kidnapped her. I sent every man working for me to find her. Then one day, I woke up and got a picture from a restricted number. It was her. You can guess what she looked like. If you've seen those cartel videos, blood everywhere. My life took a dark turn from there. I lost myself in violence. I glorified my life more, when in reality, I should have left after that. My mind wanted revenge, but really, I had nothing else. What finally made me want to leave was the darkest part of cartel life, the dark magic. Many prayed to a deity called Santa Muerte, a cloaked skeleton statue. Many traffickers prayed to her, and to other saints of trafficking, even to the devil, all in exchange for protection, to be immune to bullets or lucky, all in exchange for their soul. As my work grew darker, the parties, the alcohol, the drugs, the cars, none of it was worth it anymore. Jose saw it differently. He couldn't get out. His downfall was his violence. He brazenly killed a fellow soldier who had been meeting with the head of the police to buy him out. That police chief had deep government connections, Now, not just the police, but the military were after us. Eventually, the leadership ordered his uncle to put a hit on him. Had he not been hung over at a party, he would have gone home and been killed by the hit squad waiting for him. I found out and warned him. He skipped town and disappeared. I'd had enough. I knew they'd find out I'd warned him. I left town with all the money, but something felt unfinished. So I did the dumbest thing I've ever done. I drove down to the rural road to the Santa Muerte altar. Angry at the power it radiated, I defaced it. Then I snuck back into the US and went on the run. I haven't heard from Jose since, but I've become a paranoid wreck. I see shadows. I hear whispers.
I will take your soul for revenge.
She said angrily. I'm writing this story unsure of what's next. As I type this, it's snowing. It doesn't matter how much I reveal now anyway. I'm writing from my laptop in this old house deep in the woods. 5 black SUVs just pulled into the driveway. I've prepared for this. I have painkillers ready in case I'm kidnapped and tortured to death. Besides, the shadow behind me has materialized into a physical being. Santa Muerte will kill me and collect my soul before the hitman even reached the door.
The concert we never went to.
I want to tell you about a night I'll never forget. A night that could have ended way worse if we hadn't listened. It was a Luis R. Conriquez concert in Guanajuato. He was huge at that time. Everyone was talking about it. My girlfriend and I were planning to go with her family. They love his music, and honestly, so do I. We were excited. It was supposed to be a fun night, just vibes. Good food, music, and memories. But then, the warning came. Someone close to her family pulled us aside and said,
Don't go. Seriously, it's not safe. There's talk the cartels might show up or something's gonna happen.
Now, I've heard stuff like that before. Sometimes, people overreact. But this time, it felt different. Even her family was hesitant, and they're not the type to scare easily. So we made the hard call. We stayed home. The next morning, I woke up, checked my phone, and felt my stomach drop. Boom. Videos, news reports, messages flooded in. Right after that concert, a massive cartel shootout went down. 10 gunmen killed, 3 police officers injured. It happened right there in Yuriria, Guanajuato, exactly where the concert was held. The news reports left out the concert part, but everybody local knew that's where it started. I kept thinking, if we had gone, me, my girl, her family, we could have been in the middle of that. Innocent people getting caught up in a war they didn't sign up for, all just because we wanted a night of music. It shook us, not just because of how real it got, but because of how close it hit. Cartel stuff is something you usually hear about from a distance, but that night, that was real life knocking on our front door. Sometimes, the best memories are the ones you don't make, because staying in that night might have been the smartest thing we ever did.
I worked for the cartel. Then I ran for my life.
I thought I was just doing favors, driving packages, running errands, until I realized I was in too deep, and when I tried to leave, they came after me. His name was Luis. Not his real name, of course. You can't use that anymore. He was just 17 when he got caught up in it, living in Tamaulipas, Mexico, a border town controlled by cartels. His family was poor, his father was gone, and the cartel, they noticed him. It started with small stuff. A cousin introduced him to some guys who needed a lookout, just to warn if cops were nearby. They paid him 1,000 pesos for a few hours of work. To Luis, that was a gold mine. Next, he was asked to drive a car, then deliver a package, then drive a truck with hidden compartments. Every time the money got better, and every time the danger got worse. One day, they brought him to a ranch outside of town. There, he saw something he wasn't supposed to. A man tied to a chair. His face was covered in blood, fingers missing. Luis froze, until one of the sicarios looked at him and said,
This is what happens when you talk.
Then they made Luis watch the rest. That's when he knew. He wasn't just running errands anymore. He was in the cartel, and there was no getting out. Luis kept working. He wanted to stop, but he knew too much. The bosses trusted him, gave him a gun, told him he'd be sent north to help cross migrants, drugs, and sometimes bodies. He was 19 now, and terrified. But then came his moment. One night, he was sent on a solo drive across the border with a truck. But as fate would have it, he got pulled over by Border Patrol. They opened the truck, found hidden compartments, and instead of running, Luis raised his hands and said,
I'll talk.
What came next was months of questioning. He told the DEA everything. Routes, names, stash houses, corrupt officials. He gave them everything. In return, they offered him something most in this world never get: a second chance. Luis entered witness protection, got a new identity, new city, started working construction, but he lives with fear every day. He changes his appearance every few years, doesn't talk to family, can't use social media, because if they ever find him, it won't matter how many deals he's made. The cartel never forgets. I escaped the cartel, he said, but I'll never skip what I saw, or what I did. I don't ask for forgiveness. I just hope I don't wake up to them at my door. This is one of the few stories where someone made it out alive, but not without scars. So if you want to hear more true cartel stories, the kind of news doesn't tell, subscribe and share the video. These aren't just stories, they're lives. Stay tuned and see you later.